Hi everyone. Today, the Ides of March, I'm stuck in the house like most of you, or at least like those of you who listen to the doctors. So I thought it was an appropriate day to talk about something very important, the arrogance in science, which shows that we're all human and scientists are not special people. And the reason I want to discuss this is, of course, due to the spread of this coronavirus, and it's due to some of the responses that I got from people within the scientific community about this. So I work at the university, so I get in touch with a lot of people, not only in physics, but in other scientific fields. And I've seen that there have been a lot of different responses to this. So if you listen to the CDC, if you listen to the World Health Organization, people, the doctors, who are the experts, and let me stress that, they are the experts in the field, they're telling us that the best way to fight the virus is to stay home, to shut down public places, to avoid crowded places, to wash your hands, because this is going to get ugly. Now you would think it just makes sense to listen to the experts, the doctors, the infectious disease experts, and just follow what they tell us. But no, the striking thing is that a lot of people within the scientific community in the last few days, and I'm talking about researchers and instructors at the college level that I interact with, who are not doctors, they're not virologists, they're not infectious disease experts, they're chemists, they're physicists, they're biologists, sadly, who tell me that this is hyped, that there's no risk, that we're freaking out too much, that these are scare tactics, that they're just spreading fear, and the fear that they're spreading is worse than the virus itself. And I think this is, on one hand, silly, on the other hand, very dangerous, and it shows the biases in science as well. So let me give you an analogy here. If your plumbing system breaks down in the house, you call the plumber because you trust him to be an expert. If your electric system breaks down in the house, you call the electrician because you trust him to be an expert. If your car breaks down, you take it to the mechanic because you trust him to be an expert. So why, if the doctors tell us that this virus is dangerous and we should follow their provisions, we don't take them as experts? What is the difference between a doctor talking about a virus and a mechanic talking about the master cylinder in your car? How come the one is an expert that you trust and the other one is not? And the reason for this is arrogance, okay? Especially and sadly in the scientific community. The fact that you have a PhD in chemistry, in physics, in astronomy, in geology, or even in biology, unless you're a virology expert, doesn't qualify you above the doctors who spend their lives saving people day after day to make judgments and advise people on how to respond during what is known to be at this point a pandemic. Okay? And you should think when you do something like this that you're not just putting yourself at risk, but you're putting other people who trust you because they think that just because you have a degree you're an expert, you're putting them at risk as well. So do not make the same mistake that you accuse other people of making, like the crackpots who send you articles saying that they've solved the theory of everything in physics, combining general relativity and quantum mechanics. You laugh at those people because you say, here it is, some crazy person who thinks that he or she can figure out in a week by watching some physics YouTube videos what we as experts in the field couldn't figure out in 50 years. You make fun of those people. So what do you think gives you the right to judge and dismiss the opinion of the actual doctors? Your doctor at the end of your degree doesn't qualify you as a medical doctor. You're not an expert, so your opinion matters just as much as anyone else's opinion who is not an expert in the field. So stop spreading misinformation. If you're doing that, you are doing a disservice to the people who trust you, and you're a disgrace to science. You shouldn't even call yourself a scientist at that point. I'm from Italy, so I know that my family and my fellow citizens are experiencing this firsthand. So here's what we actually know. We factually know from the doctors who have been telling us this for months. First of all, this is a new virus for which there is no vaccine. Secondly, according to the current data, it's more deadly than the normal flu. Thirdly, this virus spreads a lot faster than the flu. Now, do I say those things? No, because I'm not a doctor and I don't claim to be. I don't claim to be an expert. So whatever I said based on my knowledge will be meaningless. But I go with what the doctors from the CDC and the World Health Organization tell me, and they're telling us to stay home. So if you're a scientist, at this moment of crisis, you should actually act as a scientist. Step aside and say, let the doctors tell us what to do. You having a degree in chemistry doesn't qualify you. And so you trying to advise people on what to do is just a sign of ignorance and arrogance. And ignorance and arrogance have no place in science. So people, please, do not listen to scientists just because they have a degree unless they're experts in the field. Listen to the doctors, stay home, avoid crowded places, wash your hands, and try to be safe. Okay? If we all believe in science as we all claim, then we can overcome this in the most painless way by listening to the experts and to the facts only. All right, guys, stay safe. See you.